Boomer.
Put on your big Hollywood sunglasses and light the torch, because it's cellar time. Welcome to the Crack Cellar, as the prophecy was once foretold. I'm Two-Spirit Penguin Daniel.
And I'm Kyle Rittenhouse.
And today, on a holy day of exoneration, in which we fully support Black Lives Matter in all ways, especially financially, right, Broadcaster?
Yes.
We'd like to start off with a really earnest, heartfelt hurrah for the upcoming reboot of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Broadcaster Nickels.
What do you want me to say about it?
What can you say about a television reboot so brave, so topical, so with it, Broadcaster Nickels?
The trailer looked like kind of like the description a psychiatrist would give you about depression or something like that, you know. You're drowning in a pool of things you want. But there, if you look far enough, you see your throne, your rightful throne, your place in the world.
They took your throne. Don't you want your throne?
Do you think they took his throne because he's black?
I'm going to say it's because he's Muslim.
That's not the hairline of a Muslim.
No, it is not, Broadcaster Nickels. But alas, this particular mission, we will never know. So this reboot is 100% based off of some TikTok video some doofus made where they like pretended like The Fresh Prince was really about racial injustice and like BLM riots and shit. And
Is it really?
The executives over at Peacock were so pressed that they decided to actually hire Will Smith to turn this into a pre-ordered two-season debut. How many times have you heard of that happening in the history?
I wish I was rich enough I could just pre-order seasons of television, you know? Just be like, let me get 2 seasons of Stargate. Pre-order 2 seasons of Stargate. Just let me inch that in there.
That doesn't happen.
Bricks.
That does not happen. But in this case, it did happen. 2 seasons ordered right to begin with, because we know that this deserves 2 seasons. Based on the trailer, right, Broadcaster Nickels? Riveting.
I bet you Will Smith's not going to be in it. Jada Pinkett Smith is going to be in it with her new husband. Confirmed.
Shit. Oh shit! The debut.
That's actually gonna be the mom and dad of the new Fresh Prince. Confirmed.
The debut of Will Smith's Cuckmaster on national television.
Yes.
Wouldn't it be funny if his name was Bull Durham?
I don't care. That's over my head. What?
Over my helmet. Yeah, it's a sports movie.
What does that mean?
It was a pretty deep cut, awful joke that I'll take back with full heart. And
remember Heavyweights? And he's like, the cameraman's like, it's like Speed. It's like, I don't know what that means. Are we rolling?
God, that movie is such a classic.
Anyways.
I'd like to make a message to the faithful 22 and a half out there listening right now. If you haven't seen Heavyweights, I don't give a fuck if you're 56 years old. Go fucking watch Heavyweights right now, because it is funnier than any comedy that's come out in the last 10 years.
Oh, for sure. Back when movies had soul.
Just like, like low budget, just fringe kids movies were better than like the top billed movie of today in terms of comedy. It's outrageous how poorly comedy is translated into the era of COVID-19.
If someone put up heavyweights, against any Marvel movie besides like Iron Man and a couple others, I'd say heavyweights any time of the day. No doubt. You put it up against fucking, I mean, I even know because my mind's so like built for universes now. Now my mind was just like, what other movie universes are there? And terrible. It's a terrible way to think. But anyways, put up against any movie that's come out in the last 5 years, 8 years, I think I'd probably watch Heavyweights. It's a solid fucking movie.
Yeah. I mean, definitely comedy-wise. I can't even think. The last comedy that I could even compare it to being better reasonably would be like... Fuck, man. Anchorman? How long's it been since like a real like barn burner comedy came out? Like,
well, I mean, school? Like the OG seasons of Always Sunny and stuff like that.
Well, I wasn't even talking about TV.
There's all kinds of different comedy mediums that compare, but
TV comedy is still in a decent state, though. TV comedy movies are what is in the deepest depths of hell right now. The TV is kind of holding it down, really, and thanks to Always Sunny, honestly. They're one of the anchors keeping this shit together.
Looking a little old, though, let me tell you. Up and painting the bag a little too long.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, the two best comedies on TV right now are Curb Your Enthusiasm and Always Sunny, and those shows are both 20 years old, so...
Crazy. I thought you said... You're painting a grim picture here. You're saying it's in a great state here. Sounds like they're hanging on by a thread.
Well, it's in a great state because these old folks won't put down the fucking cape. They're just like, they're going to retire.
They want to, though. They want to. They're shaking.
Yeah, but anyway, going back to the Prince of Bel-Air, it was a total sitcom, 100% comedy, is now going to have absolutely no comedy and literally just be a drama series about a black kid that, of course, will be picked on by his cis white male teachers. I'm sure he'll be pulled over by really racist cops once every 2 episodes. I'm sure there'll be a protest in which someone takes a knee.
Just coming in, I'm getting breaking news here that I will not give a fuck and not watch it. Wow, unbelievable!
I vow to this day I will watch the first episode to report back on this podcast. I will report the fallout, but I'm not watching past the first episode. This is purely a science experiment.
I will not diverge into that timeline.
Yeah, it's like, it'd be fun. Let's take the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and take every good thing about it and take it out and insert politics that everyone really is sick of. And let's order 2 seasons.
Speaking of taking things out, how about all the microtransactions in fucking Halo Infinite? $20. $20.
Can you take out what was never really there, Broadcaster Nickels?
Man, it's greasy.
Well, Halo Infinite. I mean, infinite microtransactions. It's in the title.
Infinite transactions.
Really, it's on you for just not getting it.
But, I mean, barring the shameful microtransactions, let's talk about the experience system and how it incentivizes you just pretty much to play for a day and a half and then take the week off.
Yeah, with the whole like online service meta and like engagement numbers being the number one thing. It's kind of weird that they designed their system specifically to discourage engagement.
Yeah. It's so fucking dumb.
Yeah, I think they realize that. I've read like 6 news stories about, don't worry, they're redoing it. Oh, don't worry, they got your back. It's like, no, they got their own backs. They know.
They got our backs.
They realized.
It's all right. The boys are in the corner going, they're rooting for us.
But in the meantime, we have a sick esports color core coming to you live. Do you want to look like a Christmas tree guardian? Oh, wait, wrong game.
I think you could select like fucking 20 different colors back in the day.
Yeah. Yep. You make it free and you take every single extra option away from the game, just leaving the skeleton, and you say, you want to build some muscle on those bones? You better be ready to eat.
I mean, I'm about ready to buy $100 worth of gold and just go deep,
Shit.
I'm committed.
I am the
to be all I can be. I just want to be diamond. Onyx. I want to be Onyx.
I mean, now that the game's out and you kind of see what's there multiplayer-wise, do you really expect it to keep your attention long-term before you get bored of it? Like, do you really... Even if, let's just say, they totally fix the experience system, and let's say that maybe they make the free parts of the battle pass a little bit more lucrative, which I doubt they will, but let's just say for the benefit of the doubt that they go that direction. Do you really see yourself playing this as your main FPS game for more than 3 months, 6 months?
Oh yeah, I'll probably be playing it for the next year or so. Just at least off and on. I mean, it really depends. I mean, off and on at the minimum for the next year. If the campaign comes out, because I think there's a lot of chatter online right now, and it's all based on a lot of assumptions. But when they did the surprise launch, everyone took that as, this is multiplayer at its full extent. This is the best of the best. This is what we're going to get. But it stayed beta. And a lot of people are thinking that December 8th, when the campaign launches, there's going to be a giant day one patch, and it's going to go out of beta. And there's just going to essentially be this this giant breadth of content. The game modes are going to get, a lot more game modes are going to get fleshed out. We're going to get infested and, King of the Hill and Assault and all those other things that we've had back in other past games and stuff like that. But, and beyond that, we get maybe a BR, since we're not getting Forge and co-op. They have some explaining to do, because I know campaign is not going to be that big. It's probably going to be a fucking 6-hour, 8-hour experience. And then, if that's everything, then yeah, it's at a minimum. It's going to be off and on. But if they got something like BR, or there's a huge breadth of content that comes out on campaign launch, then you're going to see me playing that game for quite a bit.
I'm not talking single player at all. I'm just talking multiplayer, and maybe you could be right if they release some extra modes, especially a BR. That could help a lot in longevity. But what's available now, the big battle and then the normal classic mode, it's good.
It's garbage.
It's well designed, but it's already
garbage.
Bored of it. What do you mean it's garbage?
I think it's garbage design.
Like, I'm in for a year. It's garbage.
No, I'm talking about like the way the game modes are fucking clustered. It's so dumb that I have to hop on and pick from quick play, big team battle, or ranked. Like, I should be able to do big team capture the flag, big team slayer, big team action sack, big team snipers only. I should be able to do ranked SWAT and lone wolf and teams, and I like all the things that have been in every single fucking Halo before this one. Just saying. Mm-hmm. But we'll see. We'll see. Time will only tell.
Yeah, no, I agree with you that the mode selection is garbage. The modes that are there are like good for what they are.
Sure,
but
always. A tight gameplay loop. Tight gameplay.
Although I'm gonna have to say 343, you having this bug in big battle mode where if you join as a team, you don't get put on the same team as your teammates. That is just some of the most Bush League shit. I can't believe that bug exists. And that no one's talking about it. I don't see any news stories complaining about it. Everyone's just obsessed with the battle pass and the XP system. But I'm just like, there is a major flaw in one of your 3 modes that makes queuing with your friends pointless. There is no point to queuing with people you know in big team battle because you ain't going to be on their team. It's retarded.
Oh, let's not forget the chance that your game just crashes. You haven't experienced this one yet, but I found out the brutal way that essentially starting a custom games with people is roll of the dice. Like, it will just crash your game. Some people it just won't work with. Some people, like, it's 1 out of 4 chance that you'll get a custom game to go. It's crazy. The game just crashes. And not only that, it crashes in ranked, and it actually takes away from your rank. The game doesn't recognize that you lost connection, and it actually penalizes you. And there's no way to redeem yourself.
Wow. Yeah.
So, not good.
Yeah, it's definitely got some problems, but the FPS market is so whack right now that it's still the best one out at the moment. I have a few people trying to convince me that Battlefield is the best, and I'm just like, bitch, you living on the moon. I played that shit in beta. I know what that is.
Battlefield.
That is some hot garbage.
That's some of the glitchiest shit I've seen in a long time.
And they totally did a little hoodwink on people with the trailers. Like, the trailers made the gameplay look so much more dynamic and fun, and then you actually play it and you're just like, oh.
Yeah. I have no doubt that game will turn it. Like, give that game a year, and then it will probably be pretty cool.
But give that game a year when the next Battlefield is about out. It'll be a great place.
And they turn the servers off.
Oh, man. Yeah. Well, Broadcaster Nickels, I think it's high time we talk Pokemon. You know, Made in Abyss is good and all, but the original cartoon anime kids that aren't deeply inappropriate, they need to take center stage now, Broadcaster.
No.
What's your favorite Pokemon?
Ditto.
That's a real hipster response you got there. Ditto. Mine's Pidgey, motherfucker.
Pidgey?
Pidgey is the unsung hero of Pokemon.
You fucking loser. You might as well pick Rattata.
He's number 2, man.
He's number 2, man.
So what do you think about the Arceus? Pokemon Legends Arceus. What are you thinking? You in?
Oh, I'm in.
Oh.
I'm in. I told you about it, bro. I was in before you. I have been on the Patreon for Arceus since the beginning. That's right. Nintendo's on hard times. They're starting a Patreon for this.
It's a weird flex, bro, but I'll allow it. So basically, it's Pokemon. Pokemon. Come on.
Legends.
Say
Arceus,
it with me.
God
damn it, Broadcaster Nickels. Pokemon Breath of the Wild. I was setting you up.
Damn it.
You just missed it. You missed it.
I'm sorry.
But I've seen very lush fields of open terrain with nothing in it, Broadcaster Nickels. And that reminds me of a game that I was told was great. that I played and vehemently disagreed with, but please tell me, do you think Arceus will be different?
I think it will be different just because Pokemon kind of lends itself to roaming around in the wild for hours on end, and just catching shit and reporting back with your bounty. Whereas with Legend of Zelda, or Zelda Breath of the Wild, or whatever you want to call it, it was always about a linear journey. There was a lot of side quests, but there was a main line to follow, and it felt cool. Like every step of the way, every time you completed a main quest, it felt good. Like you grew a little bit. Breath of the Wild did not have any of that. And I think that's because open world just really doesn't serve that original idea of Zelda.
Fuck no.
So I think it will work for Pokemon in a way that it couldn't for Zelda. Because if you really think about it, like if you're just thinking, you play Breath of the Wild? So you're just running around, think about the Breath of the Wild map, right? But you're like looking for the dungeon that's going to give you like the red tunic and move you in, the next step to go up and do the water temple and shit like that. There's none of that at all in Zelda. You're kind of just going around and you're doing all these things that you do in a normal open world game that you're not used to in Zelda. And all the things that made Zelda cool have been pretty much reduced just to an item you can purchase and don't really mean much. Whereas Pokemon, you're like the giant open world is, in a way, if you will, no pun intended, a breath of fresh air, because it really adds breath to the whole genre, because now you're not just going to like the Eternia forest and Pokemon Diamond or whatever and on a route and it's like some 2D stamped image that you're just roaming through the grass. It looks like every other place. Now you actually can see the trees in a 3D world, and the Pokemon could be on the branches. And I'm talking about way in the future if they continue this type of thing with the main the main series, and don't just turn this into a one-off thing. But I could see them adding way more creativity to how you see Pokemon, and like seeing what do you call that? A wurmple in the grass, a little caterpillar, but then seeing a butterfly like fly up in the sky in an actual 3D open world is kind of cool for Pokemon in a way, because you've never got to see them like that.
Yeah, I think that you're right. It could work better for Pokemon than it did for Zelda. But one thing that I really am wondering about is the whole structure of the Pokemon game loop. To me was always explore, grind, boss, repeat. So the boss would be the leader, the gym leader. And the exploration would be like the fields, you're going to the next town or whatever. And then the grinding would be, I got my ass kicked by Brock. I need to level up my fucking Squirtle more and get like a new ability or whatever. I don't know how they're going to do the final part of that. The whole gym leader, the dungeon aspect, the boss aspect. It doesn't seem like there is one from the trailers. I didn't see anything that suggests that is a part of the game loop. So if this game is just exploring, catching Pokemon, and fighting Pokemon in the wild, and that's it, it's going to be a dud, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, it definitely is just that. It will be a dud, but I'd be so surprised if that's all it is.
So you just think they're holding back that part of the game? They're just not showing it yet?
Yeah, because it might be something radically different. But then again, there's a whole bunch of rumors going on that if this works out, that this is where they want to take the main two part games that they release their annual game release or whatever. So going forward, if this game was successful, you would see like a Diamond and Pearl type open world release, a Black and White-esque type open release every year, open world release, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
But nonetheless, going back to the point, to your point of saying it's all just catching Pokemon out in the wild, the bosses might actually be the legendary Pokemon, because the whole premise of this game is like before Pokemon and humans really had a good relationship, and it's kind of rare to see people with Pokemon. So you're going to be kind of like a rare class of individual that's actually going out there and catching Pokemon, and you're going to have like a really hard time doing it, I think. I don't know what they mean, if that's just like what they mean, and that doesn't really translate to gameplay per se. It's just going to be the same outing as anybody that's played a Pokemon game is used to, or if it actually translates into a harder experience to catch even the most common of Pokemon, which would then make the legendary Pokemon kind of like a boss battle experime, like a Dark Souls experience, which would be kind of cool.
You say Dark Souls, but I'm
churching up.
The vibe I was getting was more like Monster Hunter, with especially the second gameplay trailer where they were showing encounters with bigger, more dangerous Pokemon. Like you could tell that they were sort of changing the dynamic with those, or like, this isn't a normal Pokemon. You see him like running away and dodging and doing all this shit when fighting like Gyarados and that big bear Pokemon that's from the newer ones. I have no idea what its name is. If that's it, and this is just basically Pokemon Monster Hunter World, I don't know how into that I'm gonna be. But, Broadcaster Nickels, there's always a chance that Team Rocket will show up. But this time, they're furries, and they want to steal your Pokemon for other reasons.
Yes.
Do you think they'll go there?
The furries have been expanding their reach since '99. I've feared their reach for quite some time.
Nintendo's now allowing like giant penis monsters in their games, so furries are not out of the question here.
Giant penis monsters from outer space, I'm telling you.
I do like the feudal Japan setting, though. That's kind of novel, and I think probably because we just played Ghost of Tsushima, and I really, really loved that game's aesthetic and setting. I was kind of getting like, Pixar version of that vibes from this game, especially with certain areas and the cities.
I mean, low budget.
Right. Well, yeah, it's
maybe
it's like a kiddie version.
Maybe like Pixar on like what the fuck?
Toy Story 1.
I'm forgetting what it was. A Virtua Boy,
Virtua Boy. Speaking of boys that might be Virtua,
whoa,
Broadcaster Nickels, are you ready to get to our review of Dune?
No. Yes.
All right.
I have no fear.
What's that? You want more Crack Cellar? This is good. Join your lords on Twitter at The Crack Cellar and Facebook.com/The Crack Cellar.
Hey, you over there. Are you a straight-up Chad or a strong woman? Well, you can find us on Apple Podcasts and your favorite podcasting app. Or, if you're a straight-up beta cuck, find us on YouTube with the rest of the Cloud Chasers. And we're back with our review
Boomer
of Denis Villeneuve's Dune. And the creator of this movie describes it as the following. In the far future of humanity, Duke Leto Atreus accepts stewardship of the dangerous desert planet Arceus, the only source of the most valuable substance in the universe, the spice, a drug which extends human life and provides accelerated levels of thought. Broadcaster Nickels, I was skeptical of this movie. I put off watching this movie. It's one of those things where the original David Lynch movie is so close to my heart, and 2021 is so far from my heart that I just did the mental math, and I just didn't think it was going to be good, Broadcaster Nickels, but tell me, was I wrong?
Yeah, you were wrong. Sorry, I just took a huge hit of spice.
Let the spice flow.
But yeah, you were wrong. No doubt. This is the most faithful remake since the 2000 miniseries that was ahead of its time. I'll just say that.
It's a real trailblazer.
Yeah. But man, it was cool. I as a huge fan of Dune. I mean, I've only read the first book, and I've seen the miniseries and the David Lynch movie. So, I mean, I was really happy, extremely happy for them not to start out with that boring ass intro about meditation or whatever the fuck it was. I can't remember now. But seeing the Sarkon, or what is the Sardaukar at the beginning there, that was pretty dope. That was pretty cool to see in I forget what they're called now, but that pretty much that Sardaukar priest just sitting there going.
I know, dude.
That was so dope.
I know, like I turned the movie on and it just immediately starts with that. And it took my brain a few seconds to register. I'm like, wait, what? And then I did a double take and then I rewinded it again and I paid more attention and I couldn't believe that they started it like that. That's such a tone setter.
Well, it's cool because I think that's kind of what, I mean, as I said earlier, the miniseries, which I forget who does the miniseries in 2000, but neither the David Lynch or the miniseries really did the Sardaukar justice, or the Hurricanes for that much. Like, all of them were kind of just these whimsical, like, fantasy characters, that really played into some old school acting tropes. None of them were vicious and seemed like the fierce, dominant armies that the galaxy fears, And when you see the Sardaukar, I keep on fucking this up, the Sardaukar, you're just like, oh shit, this is like House Lannister right here. Like you're about to, their army fucks people up, It just seen all those people hanging upside down. I don't know if you knew, did you ever read the books at all?
I have only seen the David Lynch movie.
Okay.
And I've seen the David Lynch movie about a dozen times.
I don't know how much the future movies, because we don't even know if I found out this is actually going to be a two-parter. And the second part isn't even officially. I thought it was originally going to be a three-parter.
No. It's the second movie is confirmed. It's greenlit.
Is it?
It's
okay.
Yeah, it's going to come out in 2023. They've actually already announced when it's coming out. So
this is good. This is good news.
Because
that was in the back of my mind this whole movie that was kind of breaking my heart. I was like, oh my God, no, please don't tell me this is going to be a part one only.
I would be fucking pissed. Yeah, the movie. This movie ends right when he joins up with the fucking cave people. So it's not very deep. Like all the cool shit that you remember from the David Lynch movie at the end is not in this movie. Which
no, dude, Fade wasn't even in it, dude.
Yeah.
We didn't even get Sting's replacement. We didn't even get a taste of Sting's replacement.
It's so funny too, because I was saying the whole time, like, I can't wait to see who replaces Sting. And then I was like, oh shit.
Not an ounce of Fade. But anyways, those people hanging upside down on the altars at the beginning of the Sardaukar army, dude. Those are acolytes. So good. So those acolytes sit out there in the rain and drown, and if they can't resist, if they drown, they drown. The ones that don't drown survive, and those are that's your initiation.
Fuck yeah, dude! That shit was so fucking metal. This whole take on the book, which I've never read, my entire frame of reference is David Lynch. But when I go into this with David Lynch being one of my favorite directors of all time, and just being like, there's no way this is going to be better than his version. To see shit like this, like what you're talking about with the acolytes hanging upside down on the crosses, and the way that they did the Harkonnen,
Baron Harkonnen? Dude.
They made a race of like bubbly, acid-faced like gippers into like a race of supernatural Hellraiser demons. Like, what the fuck? How is there such a difference? And as someone who read the book, you can answer this. Which one is more faithful to the book? Because they are very, very different portrayals.
Genesis is definitely far. Well, I mean, it's hard to know because there's only original concept art that people can really go off of for original like takes on what Frank Herbert thought that the universe would look like. But from what I've seen, a lot of the ships, like especially the Atreides ships and stuff like that, were super OG and original. Like seeing those like come out of the water and stuff like that was pretty cool and old school.
Well, I thought they almost all looked just like the 1984 Dune as well. Like they looked better, obviously, but a lot of the ship designs I thought were almost the same.
I mean, I'd have to go back and watch really, 'cause it's been a long time, but I remember some pretty wacky out there David Lynch designs.
Well, the little bug spaceship flyer that they use on the planet, that's definitely way different. That's the one I noticed. I was like, okay, that's way different. But like their actual interstellar ships, I thought were mostly the same. But when I saw the portrayal of the Harkonnen, and specifically, there's a scene in this movie. This is probably one of my favorite scenes in a movie in very, very, very long time. Like, I couldn't believe this scene. It's when the Asian doctor guy who betrayed the Atreides and took the shields down and let the Harkonnen into the city comes up to the boss and says, you told me you'd free my wife, blah, 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 blah. And this motherfucker just starts floating into the sky like a god, and he like leaves this like black void trail under him, and it creates this vision like he's some like ascending demon that's about to loom over this guy. That is one of the greatest scenes I have seen in a very long time. It gave me goosebumps.
Yeah, no, dude, the Baron Harkins got some justice done to him, that's for sure. Dude, David Lynch's rendition.
I love the David Lynch version, but the Baron in the David Lynch version was a fucking comedic character.
He was
comic relief. This guy was the boogeyman, dude. They turned him into the fucking boogeyman. And oh my god, whoever played him, I don't know what. I think it was Skarsgård, right? Yeah, dude. He was getting visions from other galaxies when he did this role, dude. Like his there's good acting all around in this, but I think his acting was just it was phenomenal.
It was good. It was definitely the top of the tier.
Yeah, and the bottom was his nephew, Dave Bautista. I wish we could just get a mulligan on him.
Nah, Dave wasn't that bad. I think Zendaya was really bad.
Who?
Zendaya was the worst.
Zendaya? Who's Zendaya play?
She's the heart squeeze for Paul. I forget her name.
Oh, the Freeman girl.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's her name?
She barely even acted in the movie, but yeah, she wasn't great. I agree with you there. Okay, so her and fucking Batista are in the running. I'll give you that. Everyone else, I think,
Batista only had like 2 minutes of acting in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
If that.
Well, I liked Timothy Chalamet's Paul Atreides, but I am gonna have to give it to my boy. Kyle MacLachlan is Paul Atreides. That is one thing I'm gonna say. 1984 in the W column. What say you?
I mean, we have yet to see him drink the juice.
Or ride a worm into battle.
Exactly. You
True.
Know, when we see him drink the bile of the worm and take on some hurricanes and ride the worm, we'll see. Because, young Chalamet will be a lot more young and powerful when the second part comes out, I'm guessing.
Do you think
it's already filmed.
No, they haven't filmed it yet. It's in pre-production right now. Do you think they're going to use CG on Timothy Chalamet in the sequel? Are they going to do like the Irishman kind of shit?
No, that'd be so dumb.
I don't know, man. I think it could happen if the way that they're depicting spice in this movie. It kind of makes
it would be really cool to get Kyle MacLachlan in the second part, though. Squeeze him in somehow.
Hell yeah! And
dude, what if he's Fade?
Oh god, dude, that is dude. That's like 5D chess. There's no way he could be that transcendent to pull something off like that.
Dude, it'd be next level.
Oh man. Fuck yeah, it would be. And Kyle MacLachlan, he's still acting and he's still good. He was in something I saw recently.
He was in something, yeah.
I know I saw something recently with him. Oh yeah, it was the new fucking the new season of Twin Peaks. Which is really that
sequel
new.
Of something he did in the 90s.
Yeah, I mean, he was good in it still. Like I don't think he lost the spark, you know what I mean? Some actors
I think it's kind of crazy how much Timothy kind of looks like Kyle. Like young guy. Like when you really think about it, you're like, man, Hollywood's fucking creepy. How they just pull these young kids out of the fucking Lazarus pit. They're like, yeah, this guy looks like Kyle enough. Fucking throw him under the slab. You're famous now, Timothy. Okay.
Oh man, I like the chick who did Lady Jessica. What do you think?
Oh yeah, dude. The whole time I was like, "You're a convincing witch, lady."
Oh fuck!
I just thought of her treachery the whole time. I was just like, "Witch."
Mm-hmm. and like the scene, which I think is probably one of the most famous scenes from the original Dune movie, which is also in this movie, where the fucking what's her rank? The Mentat or not? What was that chick?
The Mentat are the people that what's his name was that failed him in the beginning to find the hunter seeker.
The Reverend Mother is what they call her, right?
Yeah, they call her. She's like the super space. She's part of the Belenese or whatever.
Yeah, so that scene, I think, when I first saw that movie as a little kid, that scene is what really burned into my brain. Out of everything in that movie, the sandworms were number 2, but that scene with the box always stuck with me, and it just made this crazy impression on me at a young age. And when I was watching the new version of that in this movie, I got like the same feeling I think I got as a kid the first time I watched it then, dude. Like it almost felt new. It was so well done. And I really liked the chick who played the space nun, the Reverend Mother.
Dude, for sure. I loved her parting words to Timothy. Just fucking survive, human.
She was great, man. She really was.
Or I hope you survive, human.
Yeah. I thought Javier Bardem as the leader of the Freemen was kind of a little over the top, a little, I don't know.
I can't really think he had that much acting, to be honest. I forget his name. Stilgar. What is it?
Stilgar.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's something about the way he delivered it. It fell flat for me. It just felt like he was acting in the wrong movie. You know what I mean? Like compared to everyone else's tone and delivery.
Yeah. I feel like we're reviewing half of a movie though. Like when the second part comes out, there might be some characters that have a lot more time to shine. But I mean, without ruining too much for people, there are other characters that will come back and have time to shine.
Like zombie Duncan Idaho.
Not zombie Duncan. He's a Gallo, dude. He's a Gallo.
What did you think? What did you think about our boy Ronan Dex as Duncan Idaho?
I thought he did pretty well, but it's crazy how these people can't take certain mannerisms out of like their acting.
Yep.
Like fucking, he's just like he did like the classic when he got out of the dragonfly jet. He did the classic fucking crouch down and opened his arms up and like did like the bear hug thing. Yep. It's like, dude, I think you do that in every fucking movie.
Well, he fucking invented that in Atlantis too. That's why it sticks out to you, because he did that several times in Atlantis. And that's exactly when he comes on screen and he does that. And I'm just like, oh, it's Ronan Dex.
Ronan Dex.
It's funny. It's like, I like him. He's a good actor and everything, but it's just something with him where he has to be this guy, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. For the role of Duncan Idaho, I don't think it worked that well.
I mean, this rendition of Duncan Idaho, for sure, I think it fit him pretty well. I always wonder in the back of my head, like, did Jason Momoa just have an in with Denis Villeneuve? And it's like, I think we can bend, Duncan Idaho's character to Jason Momoa a little bit to make it work. Or was it actually Dennis was like, no, I think Jason would be a good fit for what I have in my head for Duncan Idaho, which I find hard to believe.
Yeah,
exactly. I find the latter very hard to believe.
Yeah, I like Jason Momoa. I just don't think he's a good Duncan Idaho. But it wasn't horrible either. I mean, it didn't ruin the movie. I mean, I love this movie. It didn't ruin the movie or anything. But Duncan Idaho was like a pretty important sort of like anchor character of the original movie, and in this he felt it didn't feel the same. It just felt like he was kind of an extra.
Yeah, but we have no idea what they're gonna do with his revival as a Gallo in the second part, and then even like there's still what's it called, the God Emperor, and then like the Child of Dune and all that shit, because Paul Atreides has a son that ends up being, like the actual chosen one. So there's all like
spoiler alert. Jeez,
there's all that stuff in the far, far future.
So that's like in the second and third book.
Yeah, I think that's the fifth book or something like that.
Oh my god, dude! All right, well, I doubt that we're ever going to see that on the big screen then, but that's okay. Yeah. What do you think about our boy Apocalypse as Duke Leto Atreides?
You mean Thanos?
I mean,
oh no! Oh shit! Never mind. There's so many characters. Sorry.
I mean, Poe-Apocalypse.
Poe-Apocalypse. Well, I'm glad they got his death out of the way quick. It was cool. You know, he didn't do that bad of a job. He didn't actually do that bad of a job. He did a great job, in my opinion. It wasn't that bad. It gives me hope for Moon Knight a little bit, even though the trailer didn't give me hope for Moon Knight. But let's not go to the side too much. Nonetheless, he died, and it was a good death, and it was an even cooler recovery for the sorry, not the Emperor. We didn't see the Emperor. For the Baron Harkonnen.
Yeah. Oh, dude, that fucking scene where they rush in and they see him up on the fucking ceiling in the corner.
Just fucking hiding.
That dude, there's so many good scenes like that. They're just like kind of throwaway scenes, but they're so good and so pivotal in this really small way. That's what that makes this movie great, is it just like really focuses in on these details and like really makes them, it gilds the lily with the small details.
Anybody that watched Blade Runner 2049,
very similar.
Like really, very similar vibes in this movie.
Yeah.
So I think Dennis is kind of just like that. He's one of those directors and cinematographers that just really that's his trademark, is making every scene pop. You know, he's a really expensive guy to work with. I can just see like when producers and executives like hire this guy, they're like, "Well, this is going to be a very high budget movie." He's like the next Ridley Scott.
He is. I was actually going to say that he is like the way that we look back on Ridley Scott is the way that kids today are going to look back on Denis Villeneuve. Like this movie, you can just tell, you can feel as you're watching it that this is one of those movies that people are going to be watching 50 years from now.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, for sure.
It is fucking amazing.
Because part 2 never happened and they're going to be longing.
It'll be like Xenogears, yeah.
And then they're going to reboot it again and have a part 1 for the 4th time.
Fucking Hans Zimmer just popping in to do a fucking killer soundtrack for this movie too.
Just doing bangers his whole life.
So casual.
Not gonna stop.
Like, sure, I'll make an S tier soundtrack for your Dune remake on, I have a weekend coming up.
Well, when you get as many zeros on a piece of paper as Hans does, I mean, you come to the table with Akatsuki level jutsus, you know?
Broadcaster Nickels, why don't you just tell us something about this movie that we don't know? What's the secret message of Dune?
The secret message of Dune is don't fuck with Mother Nature. It eats everything. And it also has consumed things that you'll never know about. That's the real message of Dune.
Yeah, I think the real message of Dune is that you better have a large bank account if Denis Villeneuve is directing your movie. I feel like the first 15 minutes of that movie cost more than almost all entire movies cost.
Well, dude, I'm pretty sure parts of this movie were being filmed back when the final season of Game of Thrones was coming out.
Really?
Just to give you an idea.
Wow.
Yeah. It's like Mad Max, bro. Like it took 5 years to film.
Yeah. Apparently this movie broke the HBO Max record.
Good. Deserves it.
Yeah. It's good to hear, because I always kind of thought Dune was kind of fringe. I don't know.
It is fringe.
Yeah, like I don't know too many people that know what Dune is. Everyone knows Star Wars. Most people know Star Trek. I feel like Dune is fucking miles and miles behind the two in terms of modern broad scale appeal. So for it to break a record like that, it's just like, damn, dude, it's good.
Kind of funny too, because if Dune becomes popular, I think a lot of people soon realize that George R. Martin jacked fucking Frank Herbert hardcore. It's like, I'm just gonna make a fantasy version of Dune instead of a sci-fi. do.
Yeah. I can't believe Winds of Winter is still not out. That's crazy to me that that's still not out.
I don't think it's gonna happen.
It's like Duke Nukem Forever.
Yep.
So, okay, I'm kind of hesitant to ask you this question because you've read all the books and you probably know.
I haven't read all the books.
Have you read the book after the first one?
Very partially, and it's been a long time. I didn't finish it, and I forgot about it.
Well, assuming part 2...
I know things.
Assuming part 2 finishes the first book.
It should. Just based on what they kind of like previewed.
Where do you think that the third movie goes if a third movie is greenlit? Do you think it'll just go straight through the books? Because it does seem like he is very, very much a stickler for following the source material.
I think the third one would the movie in his vision, the part 1, the one we just watched and we're reviewing, the vision kind of shows him fighting the Sardaukar. Like they're popping out of the desert and he's flipping over him and he takes off his mask and it reveals like it's Paul. That might actually be a vision of something that might take place in part 3 and not part 2. Because part 3 would be pretty much him teaching the freeman to be like the Atreides, like fight like the Atreides, but like then become and mix their style together, and then they'd be a more formidable army than the Sardaukar, and then they would eliminate the Sardaukar, and that pretty much. I don't know if they're going to mix that up, and do something different. But obviously that's where everyone knew that was coming, but I'm not sure if part 2 is actually going to just rush that and combined what naturally would be like part 2 and part 3 in the book, and just kind of combine part 2 and 3 and make it part 2 the movie. So you might see that, or they only do what we saw in the David Lynch movie and what I would expect, what I read in the book, and part 3 would be the actual the fruit being bared of Paul teaching the Freeman his Atreides techniques and fighting style, and going to destroy the Sardaukar. And going to their home planet, which I forget what it's called. It's like Salmia or something like that. Mm-hmm. And by that time, and they already, I don't want to spoil too much for you, but obviously they said, Lady Jessica was already pregnant. He revealed that from his visions. That's his sister, Alia, I think her name was, or Leah, or Alia. She's probably going to be in part 3. I can't imagine. Well, she'll be in part 2 as like being born and a child, but unless they do like a big time skip, I don't think she'll actually be the character that we remember her being in like the miniseries, which I don't know if you remember that or not, but
I've never seen the miniseries.
Okay.
So this holy war that he mentions, which another one of my favorite scenes in this movie, where he's
holy war
freaking off. He's just like, a holy war in my name. Just like the way you did
that's
that.
The gold. Well, that's the golden path.
I loved that shit. I really love that shit. So, do you think that holy war is is what the next set of movies is going to be about. How long does the Holy War actually last? Is it just like infinite?
Or
is
remember,
it a
those
set
visions
arc?
don't necessarily come true. Remember, like he dreamt that guy, like Jameis, the guy he ends up killing. He was having visions the whole time in the movie of him teaching him things, and he ended up not doing that at all and just killing him in a knife fight. So, I mean, you got to take the visions for what they are.
The Holy War thing seemed really specific.
Sure, and that they were trying to illustrate what the Belenese, or I think that's what they're called, the Belenese vision for the future of humanity is, which is the golden path, which is what I think was what they were trying to show you in that particular vision, which he was rejecting. He's just like, no, I don't want what they want, type of thing. I don't want the humans just to go around and do essentially what the Emperor's been doing. So, yeah. Without spoiling other things. So I could go on a little bit further, but I feel like I'm just going to ruin the potential of what you'll see in the next movie.
Yeah. All right. Another thing I really liked about this movie was the portrayal of the voice, especially in the scene where they're prisoner and they escape.
Yeah, that was dope.
Like, goddamn.
Cool. It was the coolest witch noise I could think of. Really nailed it.
This movie's just full of these little one-off scenes that you're just like, oh my God, why can't every movie do this type of shit?
It is a treat, man. I'll tell you that. When you get a movie or a video game or television, whatever it is, and it's just firing on all cylinders, it's just rare.
Yep.
It's very rare nowadays. And Dune was firing on all cylinders.
Yeah. The spice will flow, Broadcaster Nickels.
I was really surprised we didn't get that line. I was really expecting that when he came out of the bath, the recovery bath, when they were just like, he's still recovering. And fucking
another amazing scene.
What's his name? The Beast? The Beast? What's his actual name? I always just remember as the Beast.
Are you talking about
Dave Bautista's character? Yeah, Dave Bautista's.
Yeah, it's Robon.
Because Fade's his younger brother, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and nonetheless, the bath scene when there it is, like he's not done recovering, and he's like talking about the situation, how they escaped. He just comes up and he's like, "So they're finished." And then he starts talking about, he's like, all right, continue the spice production. I was like, all right, here we go. Nothing. Missed opportunity.
Yeah, but that fucking scene was sick, dude. Like, I love the framing of it with him, like, he's just like chilling there, like with this like pool of black liquid, and like this acolyte just comes in and just starts dumping this weird looking liquid in and just starts yelling in this weird alien language with no subtitles, by the way. Another thing I love about this movie is it doesn't subtitle the alien language, which gives it this mysterious element. So you just have this acolyte just screaming this fucking alien shit, dumping some crazy liquid into this fucking evil bathtub, and he just walks away. Then all of a sudden you start to see the bubbles, and this motherfucker just rises from the sludge.
Dude,
just fucking perfect.
It's gonna get a lot cooler too with Baron Harkin too, because they're actually showing him like in his true degraded form, which there's a reason for his degraded form. It's not just like some sinister tropey thing. Like, you're gonna find out why he looks the way he does, and like, you know, they dropped a couple Easter eggs in the movie. They talked about how he doesn't have any actual next of kin when he would have the conversation with one of the Minotat and the witch in that dark room, where they were discussing Atreides was going to fall.
Yeah.
But I think he's a Mentat. I forget. That's so, the books were so complex, dude. So complex. The Mentat obviously had way more of a presence in the book, but they were kind of glossed over in the movie. It was cool to see them actually doing what they were doing, though. Like when their eyes roll back, like that was kind of like for people in the know. They're like, "Oh, Mentat, okay."
I thought. So wait, weren't the Mentats the? I thought those were like those robot humans.
Yeah.
So you think that the Baron is a Mentat?
No. His assistant.
Oh, okay.
And then also the Duke Atreides, his assistant, the black freckled man with the gray beard. Remember in the beginning when the Emperor's envoy came to give him the message that they were going to take over what do you call planet? Arceus? So many different names. Anyways, you know what I'm talking about. He like asked him how much the costs were for the Emperor to come all the way out to tell him what they're about to tell him, and the guy's eyes rolled back. Remember that?
Yeah.
The Emperor, or sorry, the Baron Harkon's assistant did the same thing.
Yeah. The original version was played by the guy who voices Chucky. My boy.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. I really, really love the original 19. I know a lot of people don't like it, but I was all about it. And speaking of, there's one really different character that we haven't talked about yet. That's Gurney. Originally played by Jean-Luc Picard in the original.
Thanos played him this time.
Now we got Thanos. Yeah, Jean-Luc Picard to Thanos. What a transition.
Oh, that was dope. Mysterious cutoff, though, in the movie. It's kind of interesting how he just kind of didn't get a kill scene or like a what if scene or anything. It was kind of just run into battle and follow me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's it.
Yep. That's another one where I'm going to give the 1984 version the win. I think Patrick Stewart was better than our boy Thanos, but teach their own.
I think that's just some bias, but I'll give it to you.
I think most of the characters were better in this new one. There's just a couple where I think that
I don't think there was really a bad performance in the movie.
Just Dave Bautista.
Nah, dude, I don't even think they had like fucking a minute and 46 seconds of acting in the
and none of it was good. All right, Broadcaster Nickels. Here in the Crack Cellar, as you know, we have a patented, official Nick Cage rating system, and it's a system ordained by time and the broadcaster himself. And for that reason, I know you want to tell us all what you rate Dune.
Contemplated this for quite some time as I was on the toilet.
At least
playing
15
Pokemon
minutes.
Shining Diamond. Or Brilliant Diamond, sorry. And come to the firm, powerful conclusion. It's a face-off.
Yep.
It's clear as day. It's a solid face-off. And I think I'm going to almost do a future prediction and say part 2 is probably going to be a solid face-off, just knowing my boy Dennis is doing it.
Yeah,
So
I can't imagine it not being the part 2 not being as good as part 1. I could see it being better.
I hope so. Dennis just has those vibes,
Yep,
that
he
it
does.
would be better, that it will be better. Like, I
Yeah.
really was hoping that for 2040, Blade Runner 2049. It was a shame to hear that he never was going to do his second part to that, but
Yep. It was a shame because you just felt watching that as well that if he had the chance to do one more, it might be like the best sci-fi movie ever made.
yeah, for sure. He just got to put a cap on what everyone wanted to see, and to actually see what he wants to do in that universe would have been so fucking cool.
Hell
Maybe
yeah.
he will do it someday. Who knows? But
Yeah. Yeah, I also give this a strong face-off. I think it's nearly a perfect movie. The only weak spots are so weak that they take up about like 0.01% of the movie, so it's literally just nothing. Like, this is... It's funny we talk about Hans Zimmer just casually coming in and throwing down the soundtrack. It's just kind of how this movie is. Like, in the year 10,191, everything's perfect. Like, fucking... This is one of those sci-fi movies. It's just going to be generational. It's going to be passed down. It's going to be just an all-time classic. You can just tell.
oh, no doubt. No doubt. The real question, though, is who do you think's going to be the emperor? I got 3 strong theories.
3 strong. Let's go with the strongest.
Daniel Day-Lewis.
Oh my god.
Because I was like, man, there's so many big name hitters on this fucking movie. What's the next big hitter? I was like, Daniel Day-Lewis. Yeah, Daniel Day-Lewis, no doubt. But the real crazy ones would be Kyle MacLachlan or Sting coming in to be the Emperor. That'd be dope.
Dude,
Kyle
if
MacLachlan
Sting
as
is
the
the
Emperor would be so dope.
Dude, if Sting were the Emperor, it would be too much of a meme. It would just distract. It would be legendary and epic, but it would also, I think, distract from the art a little too much. I think Kyle MacLachlan, on the other hand, would be fucking equally as badass and legendary, but it wouldn't distract from the art and it wouldn't be as much of a meme. So I like that idea.
I'll dig any 3 of them, to be honest. Can't go wrong with any of those ideas I just threw out.
Well, my prediction is Charlie Day. So.
Oh, God.
And with that, we'll close out.
I mean, I didn't want to say this live on air, but I have confirmed through my sources that it's actually going to be Kyle Rittenhouse who's going to be the Emperor.
What's in the box? My dick.